Yes. So we'll begin our session with reciting Kitab Al-Fatihah. Okay.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam.
Kita start dengan multiple pregnancy ya. So who's presenting your multiple pregnancy question soon?
So today we have five presenters. Yes, for the multiple pregnancy topic, we have Zafira, Afifa, and Hazri that will be answering the questions that were sent through the Google. Okay, so the first question with Zafira presenting answering the question. The first question is complications of multiple pregnancy. And the second question is if one fetus dies, what will happen to the other fetus? So I pass the floor to Zafira.
Okay, Assalamualaikum Prof and my fellow friends. Can you all hear me? Hello?
Yes, can hear.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so my first question is what are the complications of multiple pregnancy? So I have divided the complication of multiple pregnancy into maternal complication as well as into the fetal complication. So the maternal complication can be further divided into antenatal, intrapartum, and postnatal. So antenatal. So the mothers with multiple pregnancy can have a hyperemesis gravidarum, and they also have increased incidence of miscarriage. The mothers also can develop anemia, preeclampsia, gestational diabetes mellitus, placenta previa or placenta abruptio, as well as preterm labor during antenatally. So during intrapartum, the mothers have high risk of cesarean section as well as prolonged labor. During the postnatal, the mothers can have postpartum hemorrhage due to over distension of the uterus, which leads to uterine atony. So the next one is the fetal complication of multiple pregnancy, which not yet. Okay. First is abnormal lie or malpresentation, especially for the second twin after delivery of the first twin. And then fetal congenital anomalies, prematurity, selective intrauterine growth restriction, twin-to-twin transfusion syndromes, twin anemia polycythemia sequence, and the last one is twin reverse atrial perfusion sequence. I forgot to include intrauterine death also. Okay, so the next, so for the selective IUGR or intrauterine growth restriction.
Zafira, I
Prof.
interrupt here ya. Your maternal complication tu you dah susun the antenatal, intrapartum, postnatal. The antenatal ni if you can further macam first trimester, second trimester and third trimester. And the fetal complication ni you can do similar also. First you can divide into DCDA and MCDA, and then the first trimester, second trimester, third trimester, intrapartum and natal.
Oh, okay, Prof.
So you will have if you think like this, the answer will come macam automatic. Otherwise you nak kena hafal ni betul.
Betul.
Yeah? So always think kalau ONG, whatever happened, always think maternal and fetal always antenatal first, second, third, and then intrapartum, postnatal. Same with the fetus. Okay.
Okay, Prof. So for the next is selective IUR. So it is because of the unequal distribution of the placenta between the both twins. So one twins get little placenta sharing, while the others got the large placenta sharing. So the next one is TTS, twin transmission syndromes. So this is because of unbalanced because of unbalanced anastomosis between two twins, which between the placenta vasculature, especially occurs due to hemodynamic imbalance. However, this TTS will be explained later for the next questions. And then the next one is the twin anemia polycythemic sequence, where one twin have anemia while the other twins have polycythemia. So I will not explain more because this the next presenter will explain on this complication. And then the last one is TRAPS, which is twin reverse atrial perfusion sequence, whereby the one twin, the donor twin is where the one twin have a cardiac or encephalic twin. It is because of large very large large artery to artery placenta shunting between these two twins. So there is a pump twin and the cardiac twin. So the pump twin may have heart failure because of her very large shunting from the pump twin into the cardiac twin. Or we can say the cardiac twin is like a compact mass in the ultrasound. So that's for the first question. So the next question is if the one fetus dies, what will happen to the other fetus?
Zarifah,
The first
Zafira, Zafira.
yes, Prof.
Kalau apa ni, you will not get full marks untuk yang fetal complication. You probably get full mark, the good marks in the maternal. Tapi yang fetal ni tak kena because contoh yang you bagi sedikit lah. But there are many things. Yang di CDA you tak discuss. I'm hearing children punya voices ni. Boleh tak yang lain offkan the microphone? Ke Zafira ada anak dekat rumah?
No, my nephew.
Oh, ya.
Sorry, Prof.
Okay. Nanti saya akan more. I will explain more about this. Okay.
Okay, Prof. So the next question is if the one fetus dies, so what will happen to the other fetus? So I have included why the factors for death in one twin. However, these factors for death in one twin actually I supposedly divided into MCDA as well as DCDA and MCMA. So I didn't remember to do that before. So I just list out. So the first one is genetic or anatomical anomalies of the one twin, as well as placenta insufficiency, absolute or relative discordant growth restriction, especially in selective IUR, like I've mentioned before, cord abnormalities, infection, like chorioamnionitis and infection during pregnancy, and then maternal disease for example, gestation diabetes mellitus and pregnancy-induced hypertension, TTS in monocoronary and TRAPS as well as in monocoronary, cord entanglement in monoamniotic because they share the same amnion. So they have a risk of cords of entanglement. So this factor for Destin one twin. So what will happen to the other surviving twin when the fetus of when the one twin is die? So these complications I should are divided into DCDA and MCDA. So as what I have read before, so the complication to surviving twin is more likely to the MCDA because of sharing of the placenta itself. However, in DCDA, it only like less risk to have a complication to the surviving twins. So the first one is for MCDA, so like low birth weight or small gestational age. Uh, and okay, I forgot to mention the complication to surviving twin is actually why it more occurs in MCDA, because when the one fetus die in MCDA, so the there will be a blood shunting from the leaf ataupun from the surviving twin into the death twin. So when there is a shunting of blood from the surviving twin to the death twin, so surviving twin will have underperfused um underperfused lah, like that. So for low birth weight also have the same mechanism. So fetal anemia, so this when there is shunting of blood, so the surviving twin will have anemia because low blood supply from because they have shunting of blood from the surviving twin into the dead twin, as well as the cerebral palsy because when there is underperfusion from the surviving twin because of shunting of blood too, so there will be develop hypoxic in the brain itself, in the organs of the surviving twins. And then associated congenital anomalies also the same mechanism like that. Then cutis epilepsia for this the same because less perfusion into the skin. So the surviving twin can have cutis epilepsia. And then intrauterine death. This because of complications towards the from the death twin. Mm. So from from the books that I read, so when there is the surviving twins is based on the if where based on the gestational age the fetal demise occur of the one twin. So if the if the one twin is uh, died in first trimester, so basically it is harmless to the surviving twin. So like just the surviving twin we can grow until full term like that. However, if the loss is within if after first trimester, so the complication that I've mentioned before can have in the surviving twin like cerebral palsy, cutis epilepsia, preterm delivery, and uterine rest. So I forgot to mention about the prematurity and preterm delivery. Because of um, when if the loss of the loss of one twin is actually during the premature period, like less than 32 weeks, less than 36 weeks. So the probability of the surviving twins, especially in MCMA, is higher to have a preterm or prematurity because we don't want to create a hostile environment into to the surviving twin. So we need to deliver the surviving twin as soon as possible if there is not good environment in the utero. So that's why it is one of complication of surviving towards the surviving twins. So next one is the management that will the management for surviving twins. So actually, I mentioned before, if there is a risk of leaving the surviving twin into the hostile intrauterine environment, so we need to balance against the risk of preterm delivery. So like if we can further or prolong the pregnancy, so we should consider giving corticosteroids to give a lung maturity. And then, however, however, if it occurs in DC or dichronic twins, so sometimes because what I've read, the DC twins is not because the complication that when there is one fetus die, so the complications uh not because of fetal effects. It's more to like maternal effects, maternal complications. So if occur for fetal, if there is no maternal complications, so the DC twins can probably be safe delivered at term because no fetal effect like I mentioned before, like the shunting of blood from the live twin to from the surviving twin into the death twin. However, in MC twin, so it is more difficult to manage because of the complications, and it often delivered between 34 and 37 weeks gestation. So it is like risk of prematurity like in this surviving twins in MC twin. Mm. However, mm, if the mother had want to do a vaginal delivery, it is not contraindicated. However, it is become contraindicated when there is obstructed labor if the death twin is presenting or death twin is obstruct uh the 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 vaginal delivery so this is for that's it for the second questions.
Okay, we go back to the question to apa ni, if one fetus die, what will happen to the other fetus? Okay, when you want to approach this question, it should be satu, dividekan dia DCDA ke MCDA. DCDA or MCDA, and usually when one fetus die ni kita dah cakap about more than first trimester. Kalau dia die during the first trimester before the bone development, the twins will just be absorbed. This is vanishing twin. If they mati dalam early stage of late stage of first trimester atau early second trimester, after 12 weeks the bone is already developed. Then they will become the one twin will grow and the others yang lain tu akan the dead twin will be compressed and pressed. It will be papyraceous twin. Papyraceous. So kalau kita tengok dia dah lama mati and just brown, dia tak ada peeling of skin ke apa, but a small macam your apa ni biscuit cookies punya doll tu, dia lepeh macam tu. So this is papyraceous twin. So twins with one fetal demise usually is after the first trimester atau second trimester. So after this, what happened? You have to divide into, is it DCDA or MCDA? If it is DCDA, they are mainly from 2 sperm and 2 ovum. Yeah? So they are genetically they are different. Yeah. So if one died, only 10% of apa ni, if one died, yang satu lagi tu still can survive until term. If this DCDA. So we don't need to check macam kalau singleton pregnancy mati, kita akan check dia punya blood coagulation, yeah. Sama ada blood coagulation they go to the IC or not because of tissue reaction of toxic tissue, I mean cell death situ kan. So it goes to the maternal circulation and cause DIC. But not in twins. DCDA kalau ada satu hidup, jaranglah kita dapat DIC in the mother. So it can go into term pregnancy. Selalunya by 38 weeks we deliver them for the DCDA. And the mode of delivery will depend on how is the first twin. The first twin is the alive twin or surviving twin, then kita boleh vaginal delivery. The second twin, if the first twin is the death twin, yang ni kena selalunya cesarean lah, because we want to save the one that alive twin. Okay, that DCDA. Kalau MCDA ni, then it depends the maturity, when is the death. Kalau the death is within 24 hours, then we need to deliver the surviving twin urgently, because we afraid that after 24 hours, there will be a problem with blood flow to the brain of the surviving twin. 30% of the surviving twin will have neurological problems, severe neurological damage, ventricular Malaysia semua. And that's why we need to deliver them, provided that they are of viable maturity. Selalunya kalau dah 32 weeks tu memang kita akan deliver lah. But if that one is still immature, then we just have to wait, ataupun kita tak tahu when was the death occur, whether death already occur more than 24 hours ataupun belum. And in these such cases, sometimes we do repeat the ultrasound of the surviving twin, or at times we do MRI, in utero MRI, to check whether already affected or not. 30% will be affected. Kalau affected, then then we just conservative. Maknanya kita tunggu saja. The surviving twin may die, ataupun they will be born alive with severe mental retardation. So this is untuk MCDA. So MCDA, usually people will go for cesarean rather than to try vaginally, especially with complicated with one IUD. Okay, can we proceed? Any questions?
Doktor, Prof, yang surviving twin tu, kalau di CDA, regardless of trimester, kira dia akan harmless lah throughout the pregnancy.
Selalunya, I mean, the majority will not have problem with the DCDA. Sebab dia most likely their genetic are different, and they don't have anastomosis, they have their own placenta. So biasanya it will not cause it is safer, like I would say.
Okay, I'll proceed with the second next question. Okay. All right. Can you guys see my slide? Okay, can you see this? So why is it in twin transfusion syndrome, the bigger twin is more prone to die than the smaller twin? Okay. First, just explain briefly that in monochorionic twins, there are almost always blood vessel connection in the placenta. So there are 4 types of vascular connection identified in monochorionic twin. That you have arteriovenous, veno-arterial, arterial-arterial, and also venous-venous. So in most of the monochorionic pregnancy, the vascular anastomosis is actually bidirectional. So it results in a balanced connection. Therefore, it does not lead to hemodynamic imbalance. So in this case, twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome doesn't occur. But in about 15% of monochorionic pregnancy, they have unbalanced connection, which is there is more of arterial venous connection occurring in one direction. So this will result in the twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome. As the name suggests, there is a transfer of a blood from one twin, so-called the donor, to the other twin, so-called the recipient. So here I'll try to explain how the physiology lah. Okay, you see the picture here. So when when the arteries branch off from the donor. Here is imagine this is the donor twin. So the artery branches off from the donor umbilical cord entering the placenta in order to obtain the nutrient and also oxygen, right? So usually the nutrient-rich oxygen will go back to the same fetus, but in this case, instead, the nutrient-rich blood will be directed to the other twin via via this arteriovenous connection. So therefore, the donor twin will become anemic. It does not have enough blood and oxygen at all. So they have a drop in blood volume and also drop in blood pressure. So this will activate the renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system in the donor. So there will be a vasoconstriction, and then we'll have vasoconstriction to the less vital organs such as kidney. And the blood will be shifted to a more vital organ like brain and heart. So that's why in the donor twin, they will have a less urine and presented with oligohydramnios. So and also eventually it can also cause empty bladder, and you can and on ultrasound it cannot visible the bladder. Okay, so meanwhile on the recipient twin, it is overloaded with blood. So the recipient twin will presented with polyhydramnios, and since they macam a lot of blood and have to pump a very thick macam extra blood, so the recipient can develop heart failure and also generalized tissue swelling like hydrops, and eventually can die. So but I actually cannot found the exact macam study saying that memang recipient tu mati dulu ke compared to donor, but based on this mechanism, I believe that recipient tu will die first compared to a donor twin. Alright. So this is the I just want to share with you guys about the control staging for DPPS. This is the staging that we stage the based on ultrasound, we can stage the patient into the staging. Okay, so I think I've answered the question, the first
Afifah,
question. Yes.
Afifah, sekejap. Can you go to your vessels tadi tu?
Ini ke?
Okay. Okay, all these vessels ni kan, it happens at the level of cotyledon tau. Maknanya dalam satu cotyledon tu dia happen ni ya. Dalam satu cotyledon, or it can be in one cotyledon or in many cotyledon, but at cotyledon level, maksud dia is a branching of uterine umbilical artery and umbilical vein, branches, the small branches saja.
Okay.
The small branches, so it's at the level of cotyledon. It's different. Saya nak cakapkan dia different dengan your traps tu. The traps tu is at the level of umbilical artery. Umbilical artery yang anastomose, umbilical artery of donor, and umbilical artery of the recipient yang anastomose. Yeah, but in that is in traps, but in all others is due to at the level of umbilical at the level of cotyledon, and your TAP study tu is just a small very minor ataupun tak banyak lah dia punya anastomosis. So it's actually macam all these TAPs, TTTS, traps ni dia macam spektrum. Yang paling kurang adalah TAPs and the worst is traps. Yeah? Dia macam dia more of apa ni? Okay, alright, okay, good ni explanation.
Alright.
So next is the other question is, this is more macam management part. I think maybe Prof will give a better answer. But then based on this question, when will the fetal laser ablation in TAPS will be done? So usually we monitor first or straight do the ablation once diagnosed. So actually based on this is just as mentioned by Prof before, that what is twin anemic polycythemic sequence TAPS is actually a typical chronic form of PTPS, whereby there is anemia in one twin, but then polycythemia in other twin, but the amniotic fluid volume are normal. There is no oligohydramnios or polyhydramnios seen in TAPS. And then there are can cause either cause spontaneously and it cause post laser TAPS. Okay. So to answer this question, based on my reading, actually the optimal management is not clear from the literature, and there are little evidence relating to the outcome and the optimal management of TAPS. And also the management should be individualized, but there are a few possible options. Includes expectant management, delivery, intrauterine blood transfusion, selective feticide, and also fetoscopic laser surgery. And also fetoscopic laser surgery is the only treatment for the cause of the disease, but it is technically more challenging because there is the absence of the polyhydramnios and also present only a small anastomosis. So as the conclusion that me and my friend got is actually, I think we think that once we diagnose TAPS, we can monitor first, and if it becomes severe, then only we can do ablation. That's all, Prof. So
Okay, I think you answered quite well kat sini. That's TAPS. TAPS. How do you diagnose, Afifah?
okay, we diagnose TAPS. We can diagnose either prenatally or postnatally. So prenatally, we based on ultrasound punya ultrasound punya findings ni kan. We can look at the MCA PSV ni. Kalau more than 1.5 multiple of median in this suggests of polycythemia lah, and MCA PSV ni anemia. Tapi absence of oligohydramnios. Tapi kalau postnatally, when the patient is delivered, one twin is macam chronically anemic, and the other twin is polycythemic.
TAPS usually is, the laser is very difficult lah. Laser is very difficult because dia tak ada polyhydramnions. We need the polyhydramnions to go into the vessels itu. Maksudnya di laser tu kita masukkan through the polyhydramnions fetus. Kalau polyhydramnions tu contohnya sebelah kiri, so laser port tu kita masukkan the fetus scope tu kita masukkan dekat sebelah kiri, and then to find the membrane yang apa ni. But kalau tak ada polyhydramnions, macam kita buat scope laparoscope, kita letak air, kita letak carbon dioxide, right? It's about as distension media. So yang sini distension media is the polyhydramnions itself, the amniotic fluid. So very difficult to do. Selalunya orang konservatif saja ataupun buat blood transfusion. And some will take directly from the fetus yang poly tu terus masukkan ke fetus yang polycythemia tu, and then transfer it to the anemic fetus. Ataupun some will take the mother's blood and terus masukkan dekat yang anemic and do codosynthesis for the fetus yang polycythemia. Okay. Alright.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Afifa. So next I invite Hazri. So Hazri will be answering two questions involving multiple pregnancy and anemia. Okay. So the first question is how multiple pregnancy can cause maternal DIC, and the second question is regarding anemia, the target level, the target HB level throughout
Anemia,
pregnancy.
anemia.
Okay, so
Sorry Hidayah. Kita bagi
oh,
Hazri jawab yang multiple pregnancy and then I will show slides on multiple pregnancy.
all right.
Yeah.
So I invite Hazri.
Okay. Assalamualaikum Prof. Assalamualaikum from Prof and friends. So I hope Prof is doing well, doing fine.
Thank
So
you.
today kalau tak terlambat lagi selamat hari raya Prof.
Selamat raya.
Today I'm going to present the first topic lah regarding the multiple pregnancy. If Prof still remember, I used to get long case with you during year 5 block 2. Okay. So today I'm going to answer this question lah. Bismillah. So everyone see my slide, right?
Tak nampak lagi.
Tak nampak lagi? Oh, tak start broadcast lagi. Okay. Alright. Kan, nampak dah kan? Can you guys see? Not yet?
No, not yet, Hazri.
Oh, okay.
Tidak.
Some problems. Maybe I should keluar sekejap ni. Sekejap I will enter back. Okay. There seems to be a technical issue. Can somebody show my slide, please? I already sent in the group. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to answer this question. How multiple pregnancy may cause maternal DIC? So my outline would be, before we understand what is, how to answer this, I would like to answer, we need to know about a little bit about prerequisite about the hemostasis a little bit, and then what is the pathogenesis behind disseminated intravascular coagulation. Okay, next slide. This is nothing, I forgot. Okay, this one. All right, first, this is what I get from the 10 teachers about maternal physiological changes in the blood. So the one that I tick with the green tick is what pertaining about the coagulation and also hemostasis changes. So there will be decrease in the protein S activity, which is a anticoagulant factor, and there will be increase in the fibrinogen, particins resistant, which can lead into decreased fibrinolysis activity, and will be increasing factor 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12, and also D-dimers. All right, so next question, next slide. Okay, for this one, is I will show again about the physiology. So as we know that pregnancy is a hypercoagulable state, and it will get normal back around 4 weeks after delivery. And why do pregnant patients have hypercoagulable state? Because they would like to prepare for delivery. Because without this, a woman could rapidly die from the blood loss. And there is about 500 ml of blood flow through placental bed every minute at term. And during that time, there is a myometric contraction. I will compress the blood vessel supplying the placental bed, and there will be fibrin deposition over the placenta site. Okay, and it uses about 10% of circulating fibrinogen, and that's why there will be increase in the fibrinogen. Okay, other than that, von Willebrand factor also will be increased, and the function of the von Willebrand is that it is a carrier for factor 8, and it helps in platelet addition. And not to forget about the fibrin degradation product, there is a product after that due to the tissue plasminogen activator that will activate plasminogen into plasmin, and plasmin will degrade fibrin into fibrinogen. Fibrinogen will be activated into fibrin, and fibrin will be degrade the fibrin, become fibrin degradation product, or we call it as a D-dimers. So D-dimers will be increased as we showed in the previous table. Okay, other than that, there will be also increase in the plasminogen activated inhibitor 1 and 2, this will prevent excess fibrin degradation by plasmin. So which means plasmin will not degrade fibrin. So fibrin can do its works by forming the secondary hemostatic plaque. Okay. All right. And then I also show you about the increase in D-dimers because of the increase in the fibrinogen. And fibrinogen will lead to increase in fibrin degradation of the D-dimers. Okay. Next. Okay, this is to show you, this is a good classification of the intrinsic system and extrinsic system. So how do I remember this? Because of the, okay, let's go with the extrinsic system. Tissue factor is factor number 3. And there will be increase in factor number 7 kan? Okay, factor number 7, 7 plus 3 is equals to 10. So that's how I remember. Sebab 7 tambah 3 sama dengan 10. 10 tu akan be activated by factor, tissue factor and factor 7 complex, okay? That's for extrinsic system. So how do I remember intrinsic system? I remember I, the letter I is the letter number 9. So I is alphabet number 9. So there is number 9 there. So 9 akan activate factor number 10 kat bawah tu kan. Betul tak? 11 akan 11 akan activate number 9. 9 will activate number 10. Okay, so basically the one that I highlight dengan tick number merah, color merah tu is to show the increase in the factor number 7, 8, 9, 12 and 12. Okay, so the one that I tick tu lah. Okay, and you can see on the right side, on your left side, there is a prothrombin time and partial thromboplastin time. So if lecturer asks us, kalau prothrombin time, PT time akan measure apa? So we will measure tissue factors number 7 and tissue factor number 3 and also number 7 because 3 plus 7 equals to 10. And other than that, yang 12, 11, 9 and 10 will be, 9 and 8 will increase in dalam APTT, okay, partial thromboplastin time. That's how we remember intrinsic and extrinsic system lah. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is the names for the of the all the coagulation factor. So number 3 is tissue factor. Okay, next. This is again a representation of the one that I mentioned, but it's this a little bit not tak tersusun sangat. Better you refer yang ni tadi. This is just colorful. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is what I would like to show you. There is increase in fibrinogen. So thrombin will activate fibrinogen into fibrin. Okay, but the one that will be increased is fibrinogen. That is dalam maternal physiology just now we learned that there is 10% of fibrinogen is used up during at term because of nak compensate lah. And there will be decrease in protein S cofactor, which it is an anticoagulant cofactor. Okay, what the function of the protein S is that it will inhibit factor 7 and factor 5 and 8, while protein C will inhibit tissue plasminogen activated inhibitor. So when this inhibitor will be inhibited, so plasminogen activated will be increased. So there will be enhanced fibrinolysis lah there. Okay, but we consider that this is how pregnancy is a hypercoagulable state from what diagram that I show you up till now. Okay, next. Okay, this is not to forget because fibrin will be degraded into fibrin degradation product because plasmin is the one that will be degrade fibrin into FDP or D-dimers. Okay, next. Okay, basically these are the causes that I get from up to date. This is the study that they show. I get this from up to date. The percentage of that. They study about 49 cases of DIC in pregnancy, and this is to show you the most common case is actually aberration placenta, followed by PPH, preeclampsia, acute fatty liver, and notified embolism. Okay, with the following percentage. However, to answer this question, how multiple pregnancy can lead to DIC is that I found another journal article that I forgot to put the reference there. It's due to mostly intrauterine fetal demise. Demise means death, fetal death of another twin. So this will lead. However, it is very rare. It really happen, but it can. But the physiology that I get is from the intrauterine fetal demise, although it's rare. So I would like to answer this oral question from the how the pathogenicity it is. Okay, next. Okay, this is the pathogenesis. So this slide, I type back all the things that we learned during year 2 block 1 with Prof Nazneen. So the pathogenesis can be explained into 2 categories, whether it is due to microcirculatory thrombosis, and one more is about pathogenesis of the bleeding. This is about microcirculatory thrombosis. So what happened in the microcirculatory thrombosis, there is exposure of blood to tissue factor. And when there is extensive tissue trauma in obstetric complication like abrasion placenta and whatnot, this will, at the end of the day, will leads to generation of thrombin, and this the end product fibrin will give rise to increase in FDP, increase in D dimers. Okay. Other than that, the second one is about the increased expression of the tissue factor itself on the endothelial cells and monocyte in response to the pre-inflammatory cytokine in sepsis and other condition. This also can happen. One is due to trauma, extensive trauma that can lead to exposure to the blood, to the tissue factor, which is factor number 3 that will activate the factor extensive pathway just now. And then one more is maybe distinct lah, because the tissue factor is expressed on the cellular level, on the endothelial cell or the monocyte. Okay. And then number 3 is about suppression of the anticoagulant mechanism and abnormal fibrinolysis. So this consumption happen because of there is anticoagulant mechanism is suppressed. So this is to show you that anticoagulant mechanism will be suppressed because they would like to compensate more, they would to form more coagulant. Somehow they will be consumed to repair the injury. So that's why it be consumed. And thus, this anticoagulant mechanism is suppressed because it's being consumed to compensate for the loss of the tissue exposure to the blood tissue factor and also to the injury. Okay, and the abnormal fibrinolysis is due to increase in plasminogen inhibitor type 1. Okay, next. Okay, these are those tissue that express tissue factor on their cell. So they can be the trophoblast, deciduous cells, endothelium, fibroblast, monocyte, and amniotic fluid. And I also list down there if but we are concerned about how the IC can be caused by multiple pregnancy kan. So it is due to fetal placental necrosis and because of there is retained fetal demise. So okay, I will come back to that later. While this is the cell, it can be to placental trauma like abrasion placenta, which is about 37%, which is the most common cause of DIC from the DIC from the obstetric complication. Okay, so endothelium because there is a vascular endothelial disruption. So exposure to the tissue factor. And last but not least about amniotic fluid, because amniotic fluid embolism, it is rich in procoagulant and coagulation factor, and this can be, there is imbalance between that, and it causes microcirculatory thrombosis. Okay, next. Okay, this is a pathogenesis about the bleeding, the number 2. It can be due to consumption of the coagulant factor. This, some more, platelet will be consumed in the process, leads to thrombocytopenia. It can be also due to the dysfunction of the platelet or increase in the fibrinolytic activity or inhibition of fibrin polymerization by FDP. So when fibrin polymerization cannot be inhibited, so fibrin cannot be formed. So hemostatic plaque cannot happen, so it causes bleeding. So like that. But the one that is pertaining is about the next slide. Okay, the next slide I will conclude all. Okay, next slide. Ni dah. How multiple pregnancy may cause maternal DIC. So in multiple gestation, IUD of, okay, I didn't put it here. Okay, IUD of one fetus occur frequently. Okay, so this is what happened. Many twin pregnancy are converted in early pregnancy to singleton. Okay, this is the reference that I got, although it is in 1993. And this thing, when there is a fetus, death of the fetus, they will lead to the intrauterine fetal demise, which contain retained fetal placental necrosis. So just now, Prof mentioned about the fetal papyraceous kan. Actually, I already edit the new one. Let me read from there. Okay, so when there is retained fetal placental necrosis, the vanished twin, the dead twin, okay, is sometimes recognized as a fetus papyraceous or compresses yang Prof mentioned just now. Peperaceous tu come from the Greek word means from pepero, which means pepper. So that's ataupun dalam layman term it means compresses. Kenapa nama dia compresses? Because definition of fetus peperaceous is a mummified fetus in a multiple gestation pregnancy in which one fetus dies and become flattened between the membrane of the other fetus and the uterine wall. Sebab tu nama dia compresses ataupun fetus peperaceous. Fetus yang bentuk macam paper because it is flattened between the membrane of the other fetus and the uterine wall. This give the name of fetus peperaceous. And this fetus peperaceous ni incorporated into the placental of the survivor. Okay, yang mati tadi jadi paper tu incorporate pula into the placenta of the survivor. And then next goes to the relates to overexpression of the tissue factor, which lead to rapid and disseminated thrombogeneration. Just now lah yang we talk about the pathogenesis earlier on. Okay, so this when there is retained fetal placenta necrosis, akan ada overexpression of tissue factor, which can lead to thrombogenation rapidly, disseminatedly. So this will lead to natural coagulation inhibitor. And last but not least, you will activate the intrinsic pathway as well because thrombin, other job of the thrombin is to activate the intrinsic pathway. Just now with tissue factor is from the extrinsic pathway, but it will lead to generation of thrombin. Then this thrombin will also activate the intrinsic pathway as well as the activated platelet. So that's how the IC occurs in multiple pregnancy. This is rare and due to intrauterine fetal demise. So that is my answer for this question. That's all.
Okay, Hazrik, panjang lebar ni.
Yes,
we go into cellular level. Is actually DIC as you listed tadi tu, DIC in singleton is rare also. So kalau in singleton fetal demise, then biasanya kita bagi dia sampai 4 minggu lah. Sometimes the cervix is not favorable, so we just allow sampai 4 minggu before we do DIC screening. Dan 4 minggu buat DIC screening tak ada lagi, then we can still wait sampai cervix dia favorable for you to induce. But otherwise, most of the time by 4th week tu memang dah favorable and we induce them. And DIC in the multiple pregnancy is with once fetal demise is even rarer lagi daripada singleton yang IUD, because somehow there is some protection for the surviving twin to stay longer. So sometimes I tengok especially kalau as you said in the peperaceous tu, probably the placenta or the membrane has has function to not to expose the tissue factor from the death twin. So in the multiple pregnancy is rarer. But the IC can occur still sebab multiple pregnancy is increased risk of PPH, increased risk of abruptio, increased risk of dia placenta previa, bleeding semua kan. These are the causes in multiple pregnancy. But for IUD single fetal demise per se, it's very rare lah. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Saya rasa you all dah okay dengan I just kongsi whatever you learn masa year 3 dulu just to emphasize saja. Boleh tengok
Yes, Prof.
So the learning outcome untuk you all ni sebenarnya you have to know the epidemiology of multiple pregnancy who are at risk, and know the risk factor to develop multiple pregnancy, understand maternal complication and screening in the mother. First trimester apa nak screen for mother, second trimester apa nak screen, understand zygosity versus chronicity, understand the importance of days of embryology splitting that causing the different type of chronicity.
Excuse me, Prof. Sorry,
Yes.
I think your slides, you need to zoom out your slide a little bit
Yeah.
because we can
Tak
see
nampak.
some kat hujung tu. Okay.
Boleh dah? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And then the understand fetal complication related to monochronic twin. So in the first trimester kita dah memang kena apa ni identify which one is dichronic, which one is monochronic, because you're going to triage the antenatal follow-up. And for the DCDA, it can be similar to the singleton, but MCDA or monochronic, it is every 2 weeks after 16 weeks. Yeah? Why after 16 weeks? Sebab 16 weeks baru kita boleh buat laser. Or apa ni? To give treatment. TTTS can occur before 16 weeks pun, tapi as you mentioned earlier, first trimester death selalunya it doesn't cause much problem to the surviving twin. Okay, that's your maternal tadi. Yang ni you all, I'm sure you all dah faham. Just remember 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah? The problem of DCDA mainly prematurity and chronicity. Yang ni semua for year 5, saya assume you all dah pandai yang ni. So this is DCDA. DCDA, when you open up pun you can see 4 membranes. Kalau after delivery, when you open up, you can see 4 membranes in between. In the MCDA, selalunya 2 membranes saja, very thin membranes. Ni macam you mentioned tadi, anastomosis. So monochronic, we have to follow up every 2 weeks, and sampai dia 34 weeks tak ada apa-apa, then we say that these are uncomplicated MCDA. So uncomplicated MCDA can be delivered around 36-38 weeks. Yeah. DCDA selalunya kita boleh bagi sampai 40 weeks. MCDA kita 36 to 38 weeks, especially the uncomplicated. And DCDA untuk delivery, it depends on the first twin. How is the first twin? As long as first twin longitudinal, then boleh vaginal delivery. But for undergraduates, the first twin Catholic, yeah, then you can deliver the DCDA. Uncomplicated MCDA twins, usually they can be delivered vaginally, but there are reported cases that TTTS, acute TTTS occurred after the first twin delivered. Yeah? After first twin delivered, and suddenly the anastomosis open up, and the second twin have severe bleeding and brain damage. So people very selalunya orang cakap MCDA je, people dah buat cesarean, but the uncomplicated can still be delivered vaginally. MCDA twins with discordant growth, if the weight is less than biasanya weight different less than 25%, then kita kata discordant growth saja. And then your MCDA twins with TAPS, with TTTS, with selective IGR. Saya tengok tadi when you present, you know the pathology there. Yeah? And twin the arterial transfusion, MCMA with risk of cord entanglement and cord prolapse if they are allowed vaginal delivery. MCA twins with conjoined fetuses selepas day 12 of splitting. So this is MCDA uncomplicated. So MCDA twin with discordant fetal growth. TAPS usually dia size dia, growth dia tak ada banyak beza, but one anemia and one polycythemia. So apa ni, biasanya kalau yang discordant growth ni not much of anastomosis of the blood supply, but it depends where the placenta. Kadang-kadang placenta kalau betul-betul fundal, then it reach blood flow yang bagus. Tapi kalau placenta yang tu probably at the lower segment ataupun dekat tepi, it's less blood flow. So MCDA twins are resultant from a minor blood vessels anastomosis. Then your TTTS at the level of cotyledon. Selalu MCQ akan keluar tu at the level of cotyledon or at the level of uterine artery. So this is at the level of cotyledon, and you have your quintero staging tadi. And management selalunya laser can be performed 17 to 26 weeks. After 26 weeks, the blood vessels is already big, and then when you coagulate, sometimes it just bled from there, and baby mati. And it's done for stage 2 to 4, and the staging is not staging dia bukan daripada stage 2 dia jadi stage 3 jadi stage 4. It's not, it's just it can suddenly become stage 4 or it suddenly become stage 5. So this is curative, and survival is 80 to 90% and less brain damage. Instead of there is 30% chance of brain damage, by laser it can be reduced to 11%. So the technique is through the polyhydramnions and then search for the blood vessels. Nowadays orang buat secara Solomon, Nabi Sulaiman, Solomon, yang dia kerat anak tu, dua perempuan pergi jumpa Nabi Sulaiman, tanya yang berebut, ni anak dia, ni anak dia. So yang tu dia suruh kerat anak tu, and then they divide into two. So this is why they call it Solomon technique, that they really coagulate semua regardless of the blood vessels, they just coagulate, so leaving the two placenta separately. Dulu orang cari atriovenous, they coagulate atriovenous, dah dapat atriovenous dia cari vein anastomosis, but now they just easier, they just coagulate semua yang at the intermembrane. So this is how they perform. This was the late Dr. Japaraj. Dia meninggal of brain tumor about 3 years ago. He was the only one yang buat dekat sini sebab kita tak banyak case of TTTS in Malaysia. Untuk satu center to function, it must have at least 5 cases a month. Baru kita ni, tapi in Malaysia nak dapat 30 cases pun mengambil tahun juga. So that's why UKM, UAE semua tak buat laser, because we don't get the universities didn't do laser sebab all Kementerian Kesihatan punya cases akan dihantar ke Ipoh. Okay, this is contoh laser yang dah dibuatnya. These are laser. Okay, then your MCDA with selective IGR, just a small placenta share sini, and small placenta share saja, with or without anastomosis. So type 1, type 2, type 3 selective IGR, not the single IGR, selective IGR. It can has also anastomosis, and the anastomosis will determine type berapa SIGR. The worst outcome is for type 2, bukan type 3. Type 2 yang worst outcome, usually with high neurological defect in one of the twin. And then your MCMA selalu saya akan keluarkan dalam OSCE, tunjuk gambar ni, and spot diagnosis, a twin just delivered, spot diagnosis. Tapi ramai juga yang tulis cord prolapse. Cord prolapse kalau in labor kan, tapi kalau in utero dia dah ada macam ni, is cord entanglement. Cord entanglement. This is conjoined twin, they splitting after day 12 ataupun day 13, and this is our case with cord entanglement we diagnosed in utero. and delivered called MCMA, selalunya orang deliver at 29 weeks. MCDA depends on what tak ada complication, they can deliver at 36 weeks. MCDA with complication, it depends on the maturity of the surviving twin or the good twin. And MCMA delivery is as early as 29 weeks sebab when they reach 32, 34 tak banyak Wharton jelly tak banyak dekat sini, and if they have caught the entanglement, it will become tighter and both twin can die. Yeah? And MCMA is always cesarean. Yeah? This is another case of our case. Yang ini saya follow up sebab kita punya NICU tu tak ada tempat, dan saya dapatkan dia sampai 32, 34 weeks kita deliver dia. But Zalila, we did cesarean earlier sebab there were changes in the flow and in the CTG. Yeah? And twin reverse perfusion, as I mentioned to you, is at the level of umbilical artery. Yeah? Yang tadi tu at the level of but this is umbilical artery. Is actually what happened is that this fetus supposed to die. Yeah? The cardiac encephalic ini dia sebenarnya dah mati, but somehow there is blood flow from anastomosis of the umbilical artery to that umbilical artery. So umbilical artery carries deoxygenated blood. When given deoxygenated blood, the brain and the cardiac will not survive. Yeah? So, but the extremities boleh hidup lagi dengan deoxygenated blood, and sometimes the monster twin ataupun the cardiac encephalic ni kadang-kadang can be larger than that ni. Yeah? So the treatment is, when we diagnose this, is that to coagulate ni. Yeah? Kita boleh dengan radio frequency or boleh dengan laser coagulation. Yeah? So this is summary of management. DCDA boleh follow up singleton, deliver 38 weeks, berjana delivery if first twin longitudinal line. MCDA follow up 16 weeks with middle cerebral artery to check whether satu kita check anemia, polycythemia sequence, and umbilical artery Doppler to check dia what kind of kalau SIGR, what kind of type 1, type 2, type 3, ataupun the kalau TTTS, the Doppler can be abnormal in the stage 4 Quintero, and we check for the growth and the liqua. MCDA uncomplicated, MCDA ni depends on maturity, and MCMA ni. So we finish with twins. Any question with twins? Any problem with multiple pregnancy? Tak ada? Then we continue with Hazrik. Hazrik nak present soalan ni.
Anemia.
Anemia.
Ada satu slide je yang tu.
Oh, nasib baik satu slide. Saya ingatkan dia. Alright.
Can someone project the slide?
Oh, satu slide je. Management anemia in pregnancy.
Bukan.
Atau panjang tu.
Tak ini. What is the target hemoglobin level throughout the pregnancy?
Oh, okay, alright.
So my answer would be from the definition of anemia based on ICOG. Okay, dah boleh tayang penuh ke? Okay, so ICOG, it takes, can you go to the next slide? It takes from the British Committee for Standard in Hematology guideline. Okay, So I further divide into the first trimester, second and third trimester and postpartum. So it's easy, 11, 10.5 and 10. So these are the target HB. But however, I think the question is quite vague. I don't it can be like a question like this. What is the target HB level if the patient is having moderate or mild or severe anemia? It can be another question as well. But the thing is, I could not find the answer for that. But my answer for the HB target level for throughout the pregnancy will based on the trimester yang ni lah, based on the definition of anemia pregnancy. So the first trimester will be less than 11, second trimester will be less than 10 and postpartum 10. So this kalau dia punya target dia kena more than this lah. So that will be my answer for this question. Is that true,
Yeah.
Prof?
Betul lah tu. I mean the answer is like this lah. Yeah, tadi you fikir of the severe anemia ya.
Kalau disability anemia, kalau dia mild, moderate, kalau severe tu kita kena takkan macam severe terus nak naik lebih pada 11 kan ke macam mana?
Your target is still ni.
Based on the trimester.
Target is trimester. You have to reach that target, and how fast you want to reach the target, that's depend on how you treat the anemia macam tu.
Okay, Prof.
Kalau severe anemia in the first trimester, you think you still want to give oral kan? Kalau moderate anemia like severe, selalunya orang buat blood transfusion, right?
Yeah.
But kalau moderate anemia in the first trimester, you still can give oral. Tapi
Yes.
in the third trimester, you can, you should sama ada blood transfusion ataupun the intravenous, right?
Yeah.
Okay, kan kita tengok yang soalan lain . Okay, I would accept the answer yang macam ni lah.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay, next, thank you Hazri for presenting. So next I'll invite Kaya to answer the next question, which are the first one is the general management of anemia in pregnancy, and the second one is after starting oral hematinics, how long should we monitor patient before giving parenteral iron? Kaya? Kaya okay ke? Sorry, we cannot project Kaya slides sebab Kaya kata tak ada slide tadi. So,
Oh, he's going to talk.
yes. Hello, Kaya.
It is in Microsoft Word.
Hello.
Okay. Apa khabar Kaya?
Can you hear me? Hello.
Putus-putus saja.
Kaya kat Sabah
Can you hear me now? Kat Sarawak, bro.
Kat Sarawak.
Can you hear me? Can you see my slide?
Slide tak nampak. Nampak muka you kat sini dengan family dengan adik-beradik. You toast untuk raya ke? Air orange dah.
Wait, I try to present. Sorry, can I have someone else to present the notes on the screen? So basically, I'll be answering the question about how do you manage anemia in pregnancy, and when do we start parenteral iron in patients with anemia. So basically, waiting for the slides to be presented. I will say that actually anemia is common in pregnancy because of our the physiological process in the human body that causes hemodilution in the body. So okay, can go down a bit. So in this presentation, I will only focus because of the restraint of the time, I will only focus on the how to manage the iron deficiency anemia, because iron deficiency the commonness iron deficiency anemia is the commonest cause of anemia in pregnancy. Um, bawah sikit. Okay, sini stop. A bit higher sikit before approach to interpret FDC. So basically, women will have hemodilution due to the process of physiological body process. So we expect women to have anemia in pregnancy. Um, so normally, even if mothers dekat booking they not present with anemia, we still usually prescribe mothers with um, iron supplements because of the expecting the progress of pregnancy would be expected to cause hemodilution. Okay, this is number two. You can see that number two, this is the prophylactic iron supplementation, and together with other medications that we usually prescribe mothers at booking. So after that, so how to manage this patient? It basically depends. Management is divided into investigation and management. So depends on the presentation of the mother to us. We have to divide the mothers into which severity of anemia. So as you all know, the severity of anemia is divided into three: mild, moderate, and severe. Again. So basically, um, mild is when there is HB level 9 to 11, and moderate 7 to 9, and less than 7 is severe. So how do you investigate? So the causes of anemia, besides physiological cause, is also nutritional problem, nutritional anemia, which could be caused by iron deficiency or folate deficiency. So we're gonna think about that. We have to put it in our mind. Or is there any chronic blood loss in this patient? Maybe the patient is having some internal bleeding, something like that, right? And then another common cause is maybe the patient is having a parasitic infection also. So we have to go into that. These are the most commonest reasons for anemia in pregnancy, other than physiological. So our investigation will focus on those things. So for simple reasons, we will do full blood count to confirm what type of anemia the patient has, because it gives us a picture of where are we going with this anemia, whether it's normochromic or hypochromic, or whether it is microcytic, right? And then usually, so if we suspect the patient is having iron deficiency anemia, and do serum iron and TIBC, but they are less reliable. They do not reflect the iron storage. Whereas ferritin is a protein that stores iron. So iron deficiency anemia is actually when the levels of serum ferritin less than 15. However, treatment we start when the iron ferritin is less than 30. Another useful investigation that we can do is transferrin saturation. As you can see there, the formula is written there where number of serum iron times 100 over the IBC. IDA is suspected when the level is less than 20%. So these are have an investigation when we want to suspect the patient is having IDA. All right, this has been said before. And then the IBC juga we can other parameters that can help us in our investigation, macam Menza index. I believe all of you have heard of Menza index and know the formula. And you can see it helps us to identify whether the patient is having anemia because of thalassemia or anemia because of IDA. You can see how I remember is everything thalassemia is less. So Menza index is 13. MCH is less than 27. It's suggestive of thalassemia. REW or red cell distribution width also helps because when we have iron deficiency, our body tries to replenish. When we replenish, a lot of new red blood cells are produced. So RDW shows how many variations there are in our blood formation. So kalau in IDA, we produce, we have different levels of red blood cells, different sizes of red blood cells. That will be reflected in high value of our RDW. Okay. So that is the investigation. So if you suspect thalassemia, if you suspect the patient might have thalassemia, maybe based on the history, based on physical examination, you can go on with doing HB electrophoresis or HB analysis. If you suspect the patient might have problems with infection, parasitic infection, you might need to go do school ovariensis or stool ovariensis or do blood film for malaria parasites. If you suspect the patient might have internal bleeding, you might do a stool or cut blood test, which will help in your management later, of course. So for the management, usually for iron deficiency anemia, as I said before, we usually prescribe every woman with up iron supplementation. And then the following visits, we will monitor the blood, the FBC of this patient. If the patient might present with booking, we still prescribe the patient with the usual medications that we give. And then we will assess this patient 1 month later, thinking that her iron will increase by 2 to 4 grams per deciliter. So after 1 month, the patient came back, and if the blood HB level is still low, we might need to proceed with investigations like we mentioned before. So prophylactic, as I said, the one that we gave at booking is actually prophylactic iron supplementation, which WHO says that for every mother, we need to give prophylactic iron supplementation 60 milligram elemental iron, which is the pure content of iron. So usually we give ferrous fumarate. Ferrous fumarate contains 30% of elemental iron. So that 200 milligram ferrous fumarate actually contains only 60 milligram elemental iron. According to WHO, memang kita akan prescribe with that. So when the patient comes back and then the level is still not improved, we might need to increase the dose to a therapeutic level, which therapeutic level is within the within the range of 100 and 200 milligrams, not more than that. So once the patient came back, 1 month still not increase in the HB level, we have 2 options: whether we want to increase the dose, which is a better option. Unless the patient might have a side effects because of the medication that we give, we might need to change the medications, or we might need to consider parenteral iron. Kan? All right. So if we to consider parenteral iron medications, boleh put down a bit. Okay, here. When do we consider parenteral iron? So if our oral iron treatment, our oral iron treatment does not improve the HB level of the patients, or might be because the patient is non-compliant to our advice, or might because of the side effects of the oral iron supplementation that we give, we might consider giving parenteral iron, such as Venofer, Cosmofer, and Avofer. Right. So this is the answer for question number 2. So another question you might ask, when do we start blood transfusion? Actually, blood transfusion is actually indicated for patient who has anemia or having symptoms of anemia. At booking, and this is usually done, we usually refer the patient to the hospital. Right. Any relevant management we can do to our patient is we encourage the patient to eat diet rich in iron, such as spinach, liver, red meat, and etc. And we want to watch out for placental abrasion is one of the complications of anemia. And then we would like to monitor the fetal growth because anemia is associated with fetal growth restriction. Interpartumly, we might need to be prepared about anemia after during delivery. So we might need to prepare GSH or JXM to stand by the product. And we need to prevent any postpartum hemorrhage by active third stage management, meaning we give you uterotonic agents, we clamp the placenta early, and we do a control contraction. Postpartumly, we might to assess the patients. We would expect the patient might have loss, which is bleeding to vagina after delivery, which actually will sustain for about 6 weeks. We might so it is common for have a vaginal bleeding after delivery, but we have to assess the HB of the patient. If the patient is having anemia and pregnancy, we might do a FBC 2 to 3 days later after she gave birth to assess her level of anemia. So as you can see there, postpartumly, how to assess the HB level. The target is 10 gram per deciliter. All right, if the patient is having less than that, so we need to assess the patient, reassess the patient. So monitor for local loss. Let me just show you this picture. So this is the process of local loss. Basically, in the first 2 to 3 days, our local will be very heavy, and I mean people who bleed. So the local loss will be around 2 to 3 days. The colors will be red and super heavy flow. So this is normal, but we not we if it's more than 7 days, so we might suspect more than local. I don't know. It might not be local, you know. And then we will suspect abnormalities if there is large clots of blood and some sepsis symptoms, foul smelling, and fever. And then the lochia is suspected to be lost about 6 weeks. Okay. After that, other than that, wait, sorry. Okay. We would advise for contraception because we want to allow the and avoid the using of contraception that would cause bleeding, such as copper IUCD. Not indicated, not in Mirena IUCD. It's not. Okay. I think that's all for my presentation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. That's very good. Any questions or anyone wants to add?
Prof, I would like to ask about how frequent or do we use zinc copper, apa lagi maltopher, or is it we prescribe at our clinic or done at KK?
Okay, this apa ni? Kita ada ferrous fumarate kan? The ferrous fumarate ni selalu dekat KK lah ya. And somehow kerajaan kita baik ya. I mean they already allow KK to prescribe Iberret. Yeah? Iberret ni mahal ni, but it's already in the blue book. Maknanya KK pun boleh bagi klinik kesihatan. So in the apa ni, in the private clinic, kebanyakannya private dia akan start contohnya Sangobion atau Obimin. Obimin dan Sangobion selalunya dia ada apa ni, it's less than 60 mg elemental iron. So our population, macam Kaya sebut tadi, you relate it more with hemodilution, but is actually our population, more than 30% are iron deficient. Yeah? They are iron deficient. It is not because of the hemodilution yang kita perlu check dia orang ni, but they begin their pregnancy with iron deficient. So apa ni, sebab tu in our population we start iron as early as booking. There are papers also saying that early iron during the first trimester, during the apa ni, during the organogenesis, there are papers yang kata excess of iron is dangerous also to the fetus. Tapi sebab orang kita ramai yang ni, I came across ada paper yang more than 50% of Malaysian population yang iron deficient. Yeah? So kita jarang dapat iron excess lah. Sebab tu kita start very early during booking. So in the private selalu dia orang bagi obimin and sangobion. Of course the side effects is less than ferrous fumarate, but the elemental iron is also reduced. Dia biasanya 30 to 60 saja. So ferrous fumarate you have 60, about 60 milligram elemental iron. And ibarat folate ada berapa? About 105 milligram. One tablet of ni. Sebenarnya ibarat ni is sulfate. Sulfate has lower as what Kaya mentioned tadi 20% and fumarate ada 30%. But means that higher dose. Ibarat is already higher dose. Yeah? Jadi kalau apa ni, this is the problem with oral iron is more of GIT side effects. Then Kim Maltopher, you mentioned Maltopher tadi ya?
Maltopher dengan zinc copper.
Maltopher, zinc copper, these are produced just to reduce GIT side effects. Tapi Maltopher ni still dia punya dose of elemental iron, saya rasa is
100,
about
Prof.
100 milligram. So it's actually is higher than Ibarat now. Ibarat at 525 you bagi dia ada 105, but Maltopher is at lower dose but has high elemental iron, and dia ni less GIT side effects and is chewable. Dia rasa coklat, macam makan coklat, you just chew apa ni. So this is of course more expensive daripada Ibarat. So at least kerajaan kita dah ambil Ibarat bawa masuk. That those yang apa ni, probably who able to pay more, then dia boleh ambil Maltopher lah. Yeah? Did I answer you, Hazrit?
Yes, Prof. How about zinc copper? Kita frequently bagi bila kita bagi zinc copper dengan Maltopher, Prof?
This apa ni is just saya rasa is more of preference. What have you read about zinc copper ni?
Just about it has the highest elemental iron. So zinc copper about 135 to 115 milligram. So the highest one lah. Other than that, I'm not sure.
This apa ni, but what about dia punya ni GIT side effects ni?
I don't read yet about that.
So kalau kita tengok kalau ferrous fumarate you bagi, kadang-kadang KK naikkan sampai TDS kan. Kalau TDS it's about 180 macam tu but less than 200. So kalau nak naikkan zinc copper ni, you double kan, saya rasa dia tak efektif sangat. If you double, so it's 135 dah apa ni, more than some literature said you shouldn't give more than 180. Kaya present tadi more than 200. So it's about that. You tak boleh bagi lebih. Bila bagi lebih, then the patient will have more GIT effect. So apa ni, okay, this is the problem of iron. So iron kalau prophylaxis sahaja kita bagi 60 daily. Tapi kalau treatment, then you have to go higher, 100 to 200 macam tu. but not more than that. Kalau because the absorption of iron is very limited. If you give the body lebih iron, it will not absorb. My consultant dulu selalu cakap, it's just your toilet bowl saja makin kuat. Because everything will be excreted out, kan? Sampai dark black color stool dengan apa ni. So nanti tersumbat pula toilet tu dengan iron. So this this is how you choose. Kita tak nak ni. So any other things? Kaya presented more for the mother, but very little for the fetus, fetus and baby. You just mentioned IUGR saja. Here is very important new findings. There will be and saya nak dengar anyone else nak tambah about the management.
Prof tak nak tambah, tapi I would like to ask, what is actually the daily requirement of the iron for pregnant and non-pregnant? Yang I know, kalau pregnant lagi tinggi lah, about 30 to 60 mg per day ke, Prof?
That is for prophylaxis 30 to 60.
Kalau macam
30 paling kurang is 30 elemental.
And then would it be different kalau they presented with moderate or severe anemia? Would be the requirement would be increased or more?
Okay. Then that's the very important of your ferritin punya ni lah level, ferritin and iron, how much of iron you want to give. Okay, this is very valid ni question, Hazrik. Anyone else had a question? Ada yang pasal parenteral iron tu siapa is covered by Kaya ya? Ke soalan ni kan ada 5, semua dah cover ke?
I will be presenting on it. I'm sorry, I'm Muhanna. So may I start the presentation?
Siapa?
Muhanna.
Muhanna.
Yeah.
What is the question for you?
I got 2 questions. The first one is how is parenteral iron given if indicated, and the second one is regarding whether to stop or not the iron supplementation.
Okay, all right.
So presenting now, Daya. Okay. All right. So wait a minute. Can you see my slide?
Yes.
Yes.
Present.
All right. So Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So the first, if my voice becoming unclear or something wrong with my connection, just roger me. So the first one is how is parenteral iron given if indicated. So first, what are the indication? I think this already explained by Kaya. Just a quick revision. So usually for pregnancy, idea in pregnancy. So we got this where the patient is intolerant of the oral iron therapy, or they were not really complying despite of our advice and all of that. And then if it's not really helpful, it means that patient already optimized, already compliance, but still the HB will not pick up. So we consider the parenteral. And then if there is any proven malabsorption, in the case of patient have underlying inflammatory bowel disease, patient already done any gastric surgery such as bariatric surgery, and then if we need a rapid HB response, for example, in prior to surgery, this usually pre-gynae or any prior, we need to achieve the target hemoglobin before we attempt to deliver the baby. So these contraindications that I would like to highlight is first trimester, because we still not have and based on my reading, I'm not sure whether there's a new research coming up, but we still don't have any safety profile for the first trimester of pregnancy use of parenteral iron. And then if there's any history of anaphylaxis, because this is still a parenteral route, so there is a risk of anaphylaxis and allergic reaction of the active, acute or chronic bacteremia, decompensated liver disease, also hemoglobin disease where patient already in iron overload. Usually this is in thalassemia. Right. So next, so how should we give the iron? So before we know how should we give it, we have to know what kind of iron, parenteral iron that are available. So I divided into IV and IM. So IV we have our famous two, which is ferric hydroxide sucrose, Venofer, and then dextran, which is Cosmofer, and then we have ferric carboxy maltose, ferric inject, ferric isomaltoside monofer, ferric gluconate, ferricid, ferromoxytol, ferric, which this is actually in USA, and then IM Cosmofer dextran. So the one in the red is actually not suggested to use in pregnancy because there is a situation of the preparation use benzyl alcohol, so we're afraid of risk of gasping syndrome in units. So the other one we can use in pregnancy. So this table I just copy and paste from British Society of Hematology guideline for anemia in pregnancy, AD in pregnancy. So before we decide how to
Mana?
give it, yes, I'm sorry.
Ada komen suara you laju sangat.
I'm sorry. Okay.
So sikit lah.
Okay, so ni jelas kan, we got intravenous and intramuscular preparation. So then we want to decide what kind of intravenous preparation that we want to use. So this is actually the table describing the advantage, disadvantage. So I will say that in our population or in Malaysia clinical practice, usually we use whether this is the two most common use lah, Venofer, which is the Venofer, which is the sucrose, and dextran is the Cosmofer. Regarding the actually Venofer, they increase the higher rate of erythropoiesis, but the disadvantage of Venofer is that we cannot give in a single injection or kita kata a single preparation. We have to give multiple dose. For Cosmofer, you can see dose elemental iron 50 milligram per ml, 20. I think you can read this table later. So I want to highlight that is Cosmofer. We have IV injection, infusion, and IM. In Venofer, we have slow IV in infusion, and then whether this is total dose, we can in Cosmofer we can give in one dose only, but it can also have multiple dose. Venofer only can give in multiple dosage. So this is actually the dosage, 100 to 200 milligram per IV injection. Some of this more is similar, 100 to 200 milligram per IV injection if multiple dose 3 times weekly. And they say that although we use 20 milligram over kilogram, 20 milligram of iron over kilogram body weight, but they say that it's not really effective to give more than 100 milligrams. So usually if you want to give a single dose, a single shot, the maximum is actually 1000 milligrams. Yeah. Right. So use of pregnancy, all the same, avoid in first trimester, and this actually just adverse drug related event. So the procedure first, before we give the, how do we give? First, make sure that they are really indicated for parenteral iron, and then ensure that there are no contraindications. And then we stop at the oral iron because we cannot really combine. We're afraid of increased iron in the body, or meet oral iron during this parenteral therapy, which is usually 1 week. And then selected patient, actually I'm not sure whether this done in clinical setting or not, but they say that if patient have history of allergy, like inflammation, inflammatory arthritis, IBD, or patient that have allergy to previous any drug, they may be advocate of given glucocorticoids, but I don't think we use it in our clinical setting. And then we give a test dose undiluted 0.5 ml, which is 25 milligram, which is a quarter of the dose of 1 vial. And then we observe ranging 15-30 minutes or 1 hour for any adverse reactions. If there's no adverse reaction, we can proceed with our therapeutic dosage, which is I highlighted Cosmofer. So we give multiple dose of 100 milligram to 200 milligram 3 times per week. If you want to give single dose, like I mentioned before, 1000 milligram diluted over 4 to 6 hours. And if you want to use Cosmofer in IM, intramuscular, usually these are done in KK, Klinik Kesihatan. We give a Z-strike technique. Basically, it's just a technique that we slightly slide our skin just to avoid the iron to get into the subcutaneous tissue, because we aim for the muscles to get the iron. Okay, so and then we will continue oral hematitis after we completed the parenteral therapy, and we will reassess 2 weeks later. The one I want to highlight is actually the how we say, how our body responds to oral and parenteral is actually the same. Although we say that the HB increase will be much faster, but how body responds to it is much the same. So usually we expect there is hemoglobin level increase in it's ranging to 2 to 4 weeks after parenteral iron. So after we decide how to give, and then this actually calculation of how much that we have to give, the iron deficiency that we give. This is actually the standard or the classical Againzonis formula, which is normal HB. Usually, if in non-pregnant we aim 15, but in pregnant we aim 14 or 14.5, and we minus with current patient's HB, we time with body weight and time with factor. So factor depending on preparation of the iron. So iron dextran, the cosmorpher is 0.24, sucrose, the vanofer is 2.4, and then we plus with iron store. Iron stores means that the expected iron store that already been inside of our body for our patient's body. So use 500 milligram for adults and children, more than 35 kilogram. But if our patient is underweight, so we have to use the 15 milligram over kilogram to get this iron source in milligram. So we'll get that how much of milligram of elemental iron that we need to give to our patient to correct the iron deficiency anemia. This is actually just another formula that we can use. Actually, there are multiple other formula that we have used, but we just refer to our guideline. This is our CPG or but our CPG, this is in our CPG perinatal manual 3rd edition, right? So these adverse effects that we have to monitor during the first test dose. Make sure that there's no hypersensitivity, anaphylaxis, bronchospasm, hypotension. This is actually if we in after that maybe have hemosydrin skin staining, pruritus, nausea, vomiting, arthritis, and all this you can read. Hypophosphatemia is not really common, but it's there if you use the polymaltose. And fetal bradycardia, this is only if the case patient develop hypersensitivity, and so we expect there's fetal bradycardia. But we can see that actually the safety profile of the parenteral is actually quite safe for 2nd and 3rd trimester. Right. So the next question is, according to WHO, there is cut-off point of anemia in each trimester. So if, for example, a woman in 2nd trimester has achieved the cut-off point, so can we stop the medication or just continue till the end of pregnancy? So this is just one slide. So no, we cannot really stop the supplementation because our country conduct the universal iron supplementation because of high prevalence of IDA in pregnancy, which is like a Prof mentioned before, the I think I just found that the latest from WHO is back in 2007, if I'm not mistaken, about 38%. But there's a research done in November 2015 is climbing up. That some region have 50%. So we can say that we are very in high prevalence of IDA. So what we do is, if already achieved this the target HB, we can resume the standard supplementation dosage for pregnancy, which is 60 milligram elemental iron, 200 milligram first molar OD, to prevent a recurrence of anemia. And this is actually should be continue after postpartum. So WHO and also UK guidelines advocate to continue the iron until 3 months or 6 weeks postpartum, so that they can replenish the iron store and prepare for the next pregnancy. I think that's all for my slide.
Thank you, Mohana. Very well prepared.
Thank you.
So berapa rujukan you? Satu the perinatal manual lagi.
And then the UK guideline 2019. And then the WHO, I think it's regarding the iron deficiency anemia in adolescent and apa nama dia? In the adult women and adolescent girls. And another one, I'm not sure. This is actually, but they have the same connotation. So this is from apa government? International something. International Nutritional Anemia Consultative Group. I already shared the references to committee, and they will share it to our students later.
Can share with me?
Alright.
All the references tadi siapa punya tadi tu Kaya punya? Share with me to my email. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone ada soalan tak? Saya nak tengok siapa yang boleh dapat distinction ni.
Prof, my name is Arif. Sorry, kamera saya tak ada lah. Ni, saya nak, yes, saya Arif. Because one of the indication to start with parenteral iron is when have failed of the oral iron. So maksudnya yang meaning that after tu memang patient tiap-tiap minggu akan pergi hospital untuk ambil IV parenteral iron lah maksudnya.
Muhana jawab, Muhana.
From my understanding, we give kita kata one session, 1 week therapy, 2 to 3 times weekly, and if the level already been achieved after this one trial, so we can just continue with the normal oral supplementation. And if not, we can give another one trial, 1 week, no problem.
Tak, ni maksudnya Arif tanya, dah fail oral baru bagi parenteral ke? And parenteral ni how frequent?
Oh, based on indication that I listed before, one of the most common indication, of course, fail oral. But another one macam proven malabsorption, and when contoh patient already at 36 weeks, so we cannot really wait to give oral. So we have to give parenteral to prepare patient for delivery. And how frequent depends on the preparation. If it is a preparation that give multiple doses.
Hello? Hilang Muhana, laju sangat. Dia punya mikrofon tak tercapai dia punya suara.
Sorry, tadi kat mana terputus tadi? I'm sorry because someone is calling me.
You cakap sama ada multiple dosage ataupun single dose.
Oh, alright. So kalau multiple is 2 to 3 times weekly, is single this once weekly. Sorry.
Arif jawab tak, Arif?
Prof, sebab saya punya concern sebab dia dah pernah fail oral iron sebelum ni. Jadi lepas tu kita akan indication is an indicated to give parenteral iron. Tapi lepas kalau macam parenteral iron dah jalan, adakah kita akan teruskan dengan parenteral iron ke? Lepas tu ataupun kita start balik dengan oral sebab oral dah pernah fail dah dulu.
Parenteral iron tu you dah calculated no. Berapa iron needed. Then sama ada you bagi total dose infusion, terus bagi the total dose. Contohnya kalau you bagi Cosmofer, you boleh bagi sampai 1000 mg of iron lah, ya. At one sekali saja, and then after that continue with the prophylaxis dose. Continue with the prophylaxis dose, maknanya 60 mg. Ya. Until postpartum macam tu, sebab you dah bagi di dose dah. Tapi kalau you bagi Vinofer, sucrose, you tak boleh bagi total dose, so you bagi sama ada weekly ataupun every 3 days macam tu, thrice weekly macam tu, untuk habiskan total dose. Then after that you continue dengan oral. So jaranglah with parenteral akan fail. But you still need to continue with the prophylactic dose. Jawab tak?
Saya faham. Jadi sebab macam kalau saya compare dengan contoh diabetes, mula-mula kita start metformin, lepas tu insulin, lepas tu kita terus yang insulin. Kiranya kalau yang anemia ni dia lain lah. Dia maksudnya oral, lepas tu yang IV tu maksudnya lepas elok kita start oral balik lah maksudnya. Kan Prof?
Kita start oral balik. Kalau you bagi IV, it takes about dalam 1 bulan juga, 4 weeks juga untuk dia naik 2 to 3 gram percent. Kalau you bagi IV. So untuk dia sementara dia nak naik tu, you continuekan dengan prophylaxis dose dia.
Okay, thank you Prof.
Assalamualaikum Prof. I got another question. What is the cutoff point that so that we can say that the patient already failed the oral iron? This is there any like 2 to 3 weeks ke macam mana ke to say that it is failed already? And then I would like to know how much is the increment that just now Prof mentioned kan it takes about 3 to 4 weeks for the parenteral to increase about 2 to 3 gram per deciliter kan. How about the oral iron? And then kalau oral iron tu, kalau dia fail tu, in term of dia, macam mana I would say, in terms of data, how much is the increment for oral iron compared to parenteral pula?
Mohana jawab, Mohana.
Like I mentioned before, it's just the same how our body react to the iron that we give.
Tadi Mohana dah cakap dah, it's same. You bagi IV ataupun you bagi oral, dia same. Provided that absorption patient tu betul. I mean, patient tak ada masalah absorption, patient tak ada masalah GIT problem, that constipation, and sometimes patient get diarrhea, you know. And apa ni, nausea and vomiting dia, that affect the absorption. Tapi kalau absorption dia bagus, the oral and IV they are the same. Yeah? So dia punya increment pun 2 to 3 gram per cent in 3 to 4 weeks. Jawab dah, Hazri.
Menjawab. And then yang one more tu cut off point to say that we already failed the oral iron.
Okay. What is the definition of failed oral iron?
From what I understand, there is HB will not increase despite giving oral iron. Tapi how long tu I'm not sure.
Oral iron ni, I mean it's actually the iron is not absorbed into the body. So kalau you repeat, walaupun dia makan, tapi when you repeat the iron studies, patient tu tak ada iron dalam body dia. So it could be other factors yang menyebabkan why the hemoglobin tak naik tu. Mohana, ada apa-apa yang ni, kalau let's say you all pass kan, and then kita panggil you untuk viva, distinction. Apalah yang apa ni, in terms of, satu saya nak tanya, cara you bagi oral tu. Ya, satu you dah buat, contohnya you dah buat 3 kali, or you dah increasekan daripada 60 now jadi 200. So how can you improve the absorption apa ni, of the iron?
Oh, saya ke?
Siapa saya nak jawab? Siapa ada distinction kat sini?
Apa nak try jawab?
Okay, Azrik.
I think we can ask patient to take more vitamin C content food because vitamin C will increase absorption of the iron. One of it.
Okay. Lain ada lagi? Hazrik tu dah tahu lama dah, Hazrik. Makan dengan empty stomach. Empty stomach nanti lagi muntah ke? Biasanya you ambil apa ni? I think kalau empty stomach akan lagi muntah. Okay, Salma kata take with meal, after meal, you know. Vitamin C, avoid caffeine, this semua lama ni. Avoid drinking tea, it contains tannin, okay lagi. These are all known factors. So when you want to answer yang tu, cara yang tu boleh, how you take iron yang tu, lagi. Ada sesiapa nak jawab? Cepat. Mohana.
Saya rasa dah ada benda because I'm not sure is it whether you want it or not, but we have this kind of oral iron that ada slow release, if I'm not mistaken, kind of capsule that have slow release.
Oh, tu you punya ibarat tu?
Mungkin boleh we work out for another cause of anemia, maybe dia ada subsequent folic
No, this is to improve iron absorption. Is actually you give alternate day. Take with orange juice. Okay. Apa ni, you give alternate day. It seems that alternate day iron the absorption and the iron level is better with alternate day, bukan hari-hari. Yeah, this is one of the latest happening. And what about the latest recommendation untuk parenteral iron? Ada nak jawab tak? Macam Mohana kata and Kaya kata tadi, if fail oral then you bagi IV parenteral kan? You bagi parenteral. There is a current concept that to give, don't wait for fail oral. Bagi terus IV. Because the IV sekarang ni is not like IV before. Dulu kita ada dextran juga, but the dextran was high molecular weight, which has so much of hypersensitivity reaction. Jadi kita tak bagi jadi orang takut nak bagi dextran. Now the dextran, your cosmorpher tu is of low molecular weight iron. Yeah. So the hypersensitivity reaction is very rare, less than 1 to 2%. So this is why the many anemia society is recommending parenteral iron untuk those in pregnancy. Don't wait for don't wait for fail oral. Yeah. Semua soalan dah jawab ya?
Dah, Prof.
Okey, saya sharekan saya punya yang ni sikit . Okay, this is anemia in pregnancy. What I would expect you all memang dah pandai history, physical examination and problem of loss versus intake ni, and the diet history selalunya lacking during the long case. So make sure that all this history you have to take all the history . So the effects of iron deficiency in pregnancy, kalau yang dekat sini, the right side is maternal punya, memang you dah tahu . But for the fetal, neonatal and childhood brain growth and development, there is adverse effect of iron deficiency. That affects on myelination, neurotransmitter and brain programming. So there is direct effect to the brain where there is more poorer cognitive, motor, social, emotional and neuropsychological development. And it has
Prof, sorry. Your slide Prof tak share.
Tak share?
Tak share lagi.
Sorry. Nampak tak?
Nampak dah, Prof.
Okay, ni yang history tadi you all kena memang dah master bila dah year 5. Dah master dengan ni and master in taking the diet history. Selalunya lacking is the diet history. Okay, tadi Kaya cakap about more of the maternal punya problem. Now is the fetal. There is direct effect to the brain, poor cognitive, motor, social, emotional and neuropsychological. And it is observed sampai 9 or 10 years that this child after delivery of mother with iron deficiencies and anak akan dapat iron deficiencies. That's why sekarang ni it's something like routine also that the pediatric are giving iron supplement to the babies. And there is twofold increase in preterm birth, low birth weight and SGA. Okay, that's your definition tadi. There is a recommendation that since iron deficiencies is prevalence dia tinggi, more than 40%. So kadang-kadang when you do at booking, patient belum anemic lagi, tapi the iron stores is depleted. and that's why the new apa ni recommended kita buat hemoglobin FBC and also plus the ferritin to detect iron deficiency. They might not be anemic lagi, but they are iron deficiencies. So anemic mother with ferritin less than 40 nanogram per mil, this is iron deficiency. In the non-anemic mother, we take ferritin less than 15, this is iron deficient. You must also evaluate other major causes of anemia. And apa ni, iron deficiencies in the first trimester is about 7%, second trimester 14%, and third trimester 30%. So iron consumption the increase by the fetus and placenta actually. These are the risk factors, women, the non-anemic women with high risk of iron depletion. So these are the mothers that that we must do serum ferritin to detect iron deficient. Okay, you know the dietary iron, and these are elemental iron as you mentioned tadi. Oral irons at the moment is still frontline therapy. It's very effective. The elemental iron that needed is 30 to 60 for prophylaxis, and then until 180 or 200 as therapeutic. The alternate day oral, as mentioned, it's a greater cumulative total iron absorption, and at the same time less nausea to the mother. JIT side effects selalunya when there is the iron is more than 30. Okay, the intramuscular sekarang ni kita sepatutnya jarang bagi intramuscular because the safer with the intravenous. If you look at patient, the stain at the buttock tu tak hilang tau, sakit, satu sakit, it's difficult for them to sit down, and the stain, the black patch pada yang fair skin patient, it will permanently be there, dia tak hilang. So the intravenous, there is resistance to use because of serious adverse effects. Misinterpretation of minor reaction. Kadang-kadang, especially with iron sucrose, sucrose dia tak bind iron betul-betul. Kalau you masukkan the ferric iron, this is toxic to the body lah. Dia akan menyebabkan anaphylactic effects. Tapi when you put in sucrose, ada lebal free iron, and selalunya tak banyak, and these are pressure in the chest and or the back and facial flushing. Bila ada ni saja, kadang-kadang kita ingat it's hypersensitivity, and then we stop the iron. But it's actually bila you biar, it's just it will disappear by itself. And tadi Mohana dia cakap pre-medication with apa ni, kita boleh bagi antihistamine also, but antihistamine has its own apa ni, tachycardia and hypotension, and we will think that it is iron anaphylaxis. Severe hypersensitivity pun only 1 to 3% with high molecular weight iron dextran. Kita tak bagi high molecular weight, dan it's low molecular weight, so it's quite safe. And iron, the sucrose, the vinofer, this one need multiple dose, but there is lebal free iron, but usually it will just disappear by itself. So kita, I mean the doctors are afraid, obstetricians are afraid of using intravenous iron preparation ni, sebab of the effect of high molecular weight iron dextran that we observed previously. Okay, this if you look at the labile iron pools, it is more with iron sucrose, compared to the low molecular weight dextran. So with iron dextran, you boleh bagi the full dose. With sucrose, you need to give apa ni, This is the labile free iron reaction, and this immune allergic reaction that we need to stop iron. But with these symptoms, we can just continue lagi. Okay. So what's new is to screen all gravidas, pregnant mothers with iron deficient. Don't wait sampai HB dia rendah baru apa ni. These are new. Administer iron if iron deficiency is present with or without anemia. Don't wait for anemia. In the first trimester, we prescribe oral, but intravenous sekarang ni the increasing in many society of anemia society in UK and US. There is increasing recommendation to use intravenous iron straight away rather than bagi dia oral. So iron tablets every other days. All high-risk neonates, the preterm, infants of diabetic mothers, infants of smokers should be screened at birth for iron deficient, because we want to prevent the severe psycho-behavioral problem and brain condition in these babies. Okay, ada question? That's all saya punya ni.
Prof, just now my question regarding if the patient presented with moderate or severe anemia, so the daily requirement will it be different or more if the moderate or severe anemia?
The what, sorry?
As we know, macam kalau prophylaxis punya daily requirement of iron is about 30 to 60 mg kan. Kalau patient tu presented with mild, moderate or severe anemia, will be the daily requirement of the iron also different or be more in the severe or moderate?
You will give apa ni, kalau moderate or severe macam ni, kita dah buat iron ni kan, kita dah buat iron studies dah dekat dia. Kalau dia anemia saja, then we do the iron studies. I'm sure the ferritin tu semua akan tinggi. So apa ni, dia bukan prophylaxis dose dah, dia dah terus high dose macam tu. So saya rasa instead of giving ferrous fumarate, might as well bagi dia apa ni, Iberate ataupun your Maltopher and Xantopher straight away. The
Okay,
more iron depleted the more iron depleted, the higher is the absorption. Tapi absorption dia pun tak boleh lebih pada 200, they will not absorb.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay. So harap-harap hari ni beneficial day for everyone.
Yes, Prof.
Prof, there is one more question from my study group. Okay, dia macam ni, soalan dia tanya, kalau patient tu presented with symptomatic anemia, kalau what is the cut-off point to say that it is symptomatic? Kalau patient memang dah ada headache, memang consider transfuse terus ke?
Dia tengok level of HB. Sometimes dehydration also headache. You have to find out what are the other causes lah. Kan? Apa ni, the other cause of headache tu. If dah tak ada causes lain, then you think it's apa ni, then we should give apa ni, especially with severe ataupun moderate anemia, you might give them blood straight away. Hello?
Yes, Prof.
Okay.
Prof, actually yang question tu kiranya macam walaupun patient tu HB dia normal tapi dia symptomatic like that lah, maksudnya kita boleh consider terus transfusion, especially in apa tu first trimester case where Mohana cakap sebelum ni that we don't prefer parenteral iron therapy.
Tadi you kata HB normal.
Tapi tu
Kalau
kira
HB normal kita tak transfuse dah pula.
walaupun simptomatik.
Symptomatic anemia. Tapi dia tak anemia. As you said, HB dia normal.
I thought I heard somewhere like symptomatic anemia maksudnya itulah kata tu yang soalan tu tanya tadi tu, the symptoms. Dia ada the symptoms but the biological investigations dia tak prove. Macam tak correlate dengan dia punya symptoms tu.
If she's not anemia ke hypovolemia?
Kalau hypovolemia should be anemia lah kan.
Because they might be masa first trimester tu they might be vomiting, nausea, macam tu kan.
Ataupun anemia dia very mild. Contohnya 10 kan. But then the reaction tu macam orang yang HB 4 5 macam tu.
I think need to investigate other things. Dia punya cardiac ke apa-apa yang lain. Because people will not transfuse kalau HB dia 10 pula. Yeah? Okay. Terima kasih semua ya. I learned a lot juga from your presentation.
Prof, sekejap. Saya Arif. Saya nak clarify yang tadi awal-awal tadi. Betul ke in the case of fetal demise, kalau MCDA, kalau intrauterine death less than 24 hours, kita consider delivery. However, if more than 24 hours, kita tak buat apa-apa lah, Prof kan? Kita memang biar je.
Kalau betul, provided that yang satu baby tu dah mature tau. Contohnya kalau MCDA, kita tahu dia less than 24 hours, lepas tu dia 28 weeks. Yang satu tu fetal demise and satu tu 28 weeks. And then we have to look at our NICU pula. NICU kita boleh ambil ke tidak? Kalau NICU kita boleh ambil, insyaAllah kita keluarkan. Tapi if our NICU tak boleh nak ambil, then we cannot take out this baby. Too premature. Tapi kalau 32 weeks tu, memang selalunya people will take out lah. Kalau more
For
than
yang kalau yang dah lebih 24 hours tu, maksudnya sebab damage has already been done, jadi kita biar je, macam tu lah maksudnya.
More than 24 hours, most likely that the brain dah develop. Sama ada brain dah develop ataupun dia tak develop, because they have 30% kan, maybe 70% tak, 70% okay. So kalau yang 70% okay tu alhamdulillah lah. Otherwise for us to look, katakan dia mati ni hari ni, lepas tu walaupun dah berlaku 24 hours, besoknya kita buat scan tak nampak lagi brain damage tu. Brain damage is not easy. The changes, dia akan kita tengok 1 atau 2 minggu baru kita tahu ada brain changes. So tapi kalau tu kalau kita plan, okay, we plan for conservative, maknanya kita tak keluarkan anak dia because of prematurity. We just tawakal aje lah sama ada dia ni bawah 70% normal ataupun 30% brain damage.
Kalau kita detect brain damage-nya intrapartum tu, kita buat apa, Prof? Kita deliver ke ataupun?
Kalau dah ada brain damage lagi, kita biarkan.
Oh, okay.
Because dia still premature kan. So kita biarkan. It will not change the outcome.
Okay, thank you, Prof.
Okay. Okay ya, we call it a day. Alhamdulillah. Terima kasih semua.
Thank you very much.
Dengan recovery. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, Prof.
Salam. Thank you, Prof.